Welcome to It Starts With Courage podcast with Kat and Jen. What is it? It's everything. Everything you want in life starts with courage.
JB.
What's up, Kat?
How are you today? Why?
What's up, Kat? That sounded very what's up, Kat. Am I boring you or something?
No.
How you been?
Good. I mean, I feel like the summer is almost over.
It's actually, I don't know. The start of the year is always such a drag, and then everything else just goes Christmas.
Yeah, it feels like this year's flown by, actually.
I know I was not saying that during like February, March. I was not saying that at all. I was not saying that. And now almost there with my competition that I'm signed up for.
How's the training going?
You know, I feel like now I'm into it. It's not so bad. But like the first couple of weeks were, I had lots of doubts. One, I was doubting, could I do it? Could I look like some of these women who I've been looking at on stage? And also just sticking with the process. I had to get my mind into that because it's not what I'm used to doing. Sometimes you feel you know your own body, but you only know what you've allowed it to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you always know what it can do unless you try. And I feel like this is what this has been, finding out
How far you can push yourself.
Yeah, not even how far I can push myself, but like the amazing transformation that my body can undergo has just been crazy.
What's
But
the hardest part?
the hardest part, I think, it is trusting the process. That's the hardest part. I had a moment a little while ago. I went upstairs and I was making my schedule for the week. So I was making my schedule for the week, and my schedule for the week was kind of like, okay, what are the foods I'm eating? When do I need to fit in this particular exercise? Some days I have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I remember laughing at Brandy when she said this. But in order to fit everything in, and then that same night, it was a Sunday, I had just finished meal prepping. I had some orders to process for some customers. I also had like quite a few things with my website. I recently launched a new platform and I felt overwhelmed. And in that time, things felt hard. And I just thought, why can't I just be able to sit down and relax? Forgetting that these are things that I've worked hard for. Also, not realizing in that or failing to realize how lucky I am to be in a position to be able to do any of this. But also just, I realized that I was uncomfortable. Okay. Having launched this platform for my workouts, I moved most of the things away from Instagram. I was trying something new. And this was the first week. And sometimes when you start something new, it doesn't happen as fast as you think it will happen. You don't see the same numbers that, I didn't see the same numbers.
You're used to.
And in that moment, I thought, well, should I just go back to what I'm used to? And I was so grateful for my assistant who helps me, Emily. And she, we've worked hard on this website. And she said, you know what, Catherine, it's okay. It's okay for you to feel that way because this is completely unfamiliar to you. This is not what you're used to. You're doubting yourself. You're thinking, will people come? But she just said, you know what? If the people are there for you and, they know your brand, they know you, people will come. It may just take a little bit longer. You may not see those same numbers, but you have to trust the process. Allow what you've built to work for a while before trying to return to this familiar place.
Yeah.
And that was powerful. So it had me thinking, I was like, How many of us out there, or even you, Jen, have you ever started something or, set a goal, and as things become hard or it becomes unfamiliar, or sometimes you're just not sure, are you just like, "No, well, let me give up. This is not for me."
Yeah, I think everybody experiences that. I think that's just part of change, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I remember the first when my parents were dropping me off at college,
Yeah.
and it was like going up to the dorm, and of course we have to be there early because we're soccer players and our season starts in August, so we have to be there a few weeks before the regular students are there. And I haven't met like my roommate or anything, so I'm like going to my dorm room, and I walk in the dorm room for the first time, and my roommate had been there for a day or two, so like she had picked her side. It was like all decorated. It was like all homey, and I had this like cinder block wall with this twin bed, and it was just like, okay. So immediately kind of got that anxiety, and I just remember like my parents leaving for going to the hotel and like leaving me there and like sitting there and being like, what the hell am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like what why did I think I could do this?
Yeah.
And then a couple of our other a couple other people came to our room, and we met them, and it was just got more and more comfortable. And then
Yeah.
after a week or so, it was like, okay, this is what I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'll never forget that first night being like, I made a
I
mistake.
mean, yeah.
Like, yeah, like I made a mistake. Like, and so I try to encourage people when they're going through the change like that. I always tell people, don't give me a new car, a new phone, a new computer all at one time. Like that, you will ruin my life, because I don't like to learn how to do new
New things.
things. I
Uh-huh.
want to just I know how this one works, and to
You're
have to like,
familiar, you're
yeah,
comfortable with that.
exactly. And same thing, like we just sold our house and we moved into one of our rent houses,
Yeah.
and my daughter's like, why are we doing this? Like,
Yeah.
we just moved in, like it's just full of boxes. It's like 1,000 square feet smaller.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff everywhere. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think if you could just make it through that first bit of self-doubt and
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortableness, and give yourself time and get through that first part, that first week of
Yeah.
change is like the worst in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you kind of settle in.
That's true. I think another great example of that is, think about babies when they're first learning how to walk and they fall, or learning how to stand. Imagine you gave up as a baby every time you fell when you stood up, or every time you took a step. And you stop. Like, one, not only are you teaching yourself to quit, but you never know what's on the other side of that trial.
Yeah.
Whatever that is hard or uncomfortable or unfamiliar, unless you go through it, you never know what's on the other side. What's on the other side of that stand is a walk, is a run, is a sprint, or is a
Whatever.
jump.
What's that quote? Everything you ever wanted was right outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. There's one that I like. I posted this once as a meme. It's like, better an oops than a what if.
Yeah. I like that.
Better an oops than a what if. So if you're out there what ifing, don't be, they say the number one thing that geriatrics say on their deathbed is, I wish I had, or what if I had. And they say, if there's a regret that most people have before dying, it's not going for something that they said they wanted to do, or sticking with the process.
Well, and the thing is like a lot of the times, like if you're gonna try, like if you try something new or you ask for something, and somebody tells you no, or you fail,
Mm-hmm.
like at the end of the day, what's like the worst that can really happen?
Right.
A lot of people are afraid to hear a no, or they're afraid to fail. But at the end of the day, like, it's kind of like real estate agents. I see so many salespeople that are just like afraid
Mm-hmm.
to ask for the business. They're afraid to try something because they don't want to. They don't want that rejection. But like, I'm like, this person is never gonna. They're not gonna remember your name, and
Yeah.
you're never gonna see them again in your life. So if they tell you no or hang up on you, like, what is really the worst thing that can happen?
Mm-hmm. That's true. What is the worst thing that can happen? Or what was that we once said? What's the best thing that could happen if you push through?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have to go into the mindset of what's the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's not pushing you through, you need it's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, you try to start a business and it fails.
Yeah.
Okay, well, move on to the next. There's plenty of business people that they only have to make it with one idea,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, they have 20 ideas or businesses that don't work, and they have one that they crush it. I
Right.
mean, you only have to like hit it out of the ballpark one time.
Just
and
the
so,
one time.
Like, just think about it as like, what is the worst thing that can happen if you try and fail? So you failed. You didn't get it.
And even if you fail, if you're trying something new, you can always go back to what worked, right? At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, worst case scenario, you just go back to Instagram and post all your workouts there.
There we go. So, I mean, that's really just what I wanted to talk about today. Trusting the process, overcoming that adversity, facing that fear of change, moving away from familiar feelings that are comfortable and going for that uncomfortable feeling, that unknown space to discover what or who is on the other side, what version of you is at the other side of that.
And give yourself 2 weeks. Let's make it like a 2-week rule, right? Like, if it's uncomfortable and you're struggling with it, but you feel like what you're doing is really in the best place for you or your business or whatever you're doing to be, like, try it for 2 weeks. Like, don't give up in that first couple days. Get through that super hard, uncomfortable part and see if you can settle in after 2 weeks.
Yes. And most of it with change, they say your mind will always move to a place to protect you. So it's not that you can't do it. It's just your mind protecting you from what's not familiar, what's not normal, what seems scary. And true enough, after those 2 weeks, I mean, the first 2 weeks, by week 2, I felt good in my eating habits, in the new workout routine I had to adopt. So yeah, trust the process, guys.
Peace. Thanks for listening to this episode of It Starts With Courage podcast with Kat and Jen. If you like this episode of the podcast, visit our website, iswcpodcast.com, for show notes and other cool things.